In the Roses, when a picture-perfect marriage between Ivy and Theo with successful careers manages to change, Theo's career goes down the drain and Ivy's career manages to flourish higher than before, and all that settles into a complication between them all. Hello and welcome to Cinema, where we focus on the film. I'm Josh, this is Simply Cinema. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of The Roses. Was it good, was it bad, or somewhere right in the middle? Or if you're waiting for this review to decide if you're going to see it or not. And taking it right into positives, The Roses is a well-developed and elegant film that really balances in some comedy notes as well as the heavy dramatic ideas of divorce and complications within marriage, things with the ideal dreamlike marriage that is always looking all perfect and everything that is flourishing as a whole. What we get out of Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch is excellent within their performances. They really manage to show the emotions and divergent ideas within their marriage, within their performances, the banters, or even the loving chemistry between the two shines a light on what is coming out of this film as a whole. That, as Jay Roach is the director, he's been known to do a lot of drama movies as well as comedies in their own things, and combining the two just does wonders for the nature of what this film emits. And there's a proper tone that follows through the whole entire runtime that feels like it has the pacing down, it has the editing, and it looks good for the nature of throwing in different scenery along the way, never feeling too stagnant with what it's tackling as a whole, and getting these friends Andy Samberg, Kate McKinnon just as well, playing those two as well, add in some flavorful best friend jokes that are married on their own, and there's other friends that come along the way, as well as their kids that just add in an ounce of laughter or divergence between how they are connecting with their parents of Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch. What we get out of all of that as a whole creates this different sort of story to be had that, while I'm not familiar and haven't read or watched the original War of the Roses, there's something from this that feels fresh, that feels has its own touch of flavor, that's flamboyant within the means of the tides to an end, that while it does carry the heavy all natural emotions that you should be having with this type of drama, it's not too weighed down by that, because you're still getting comedy bits here and there that add in the announcement of flavor that comes about along the way that doesn't keep you feeling downtrodden and emotionally sad from everything you're emitting from this film. And while I can't make direct comparisons to the book or the previous movie that this film is tackling as a whole, there is some ounce of originality to this film that I can see where there would be distinct differences, whether it's with the technology, with cell phones, iPhones, different trends with TikTok, when we get Theo's career going down a drain, how he feels downtrodden, everything that's going about with that, and the coinciding factors of what we get out of Ivy's career from Olivia Colman, how that career is managing to flourish, different techniques that we have today, that getting a restaurant to go up and grow as a business, and the things that make the Benedict Cumberbatch character so much more depressed, and having the patterns that you see within people today is evident within this film just as well, that you wouldn't naturally see within the older film because the lack of technology. So being able to add that modern spin on it, while I don't personally have the comparison to mention in mind, there is those different ideas that adding the banter between the two, adding in the kids, and having this side quest with these friends just as well that come in along the way, has the navigational route that you see where there's ups and downs to their marriage. They're perfect from the beginning, and there's things that are going about where you sort of cheer for their careers to flourish. You're downtrodden by when we're getting the downfall of one person's career, but they manage to pick up the stones here and there. But there's just the ups and downs of things that they manage to pick out each other from each other's marriages that really goes about along the way with different counseling sessions, with different ideas that could be a lot better for the nature that this film is tackling, and I think it does quite well. Which takes me into the mix element. There's things here and there where, as a comedy movie, adding in the drama, there could be some emotional strides that don't necessarily work for some people, whether it's the comedy where the jokes personally might not land for you, or the drama where it might feel a little too heavy for what you're getting. You don't like to relive a divorce type of theme, and so that's where it could withdraw some people from being able to watch it, but it's still a good film for what it manages to tackle. I don't feel it feels overly heavy, but there is a medium tone to it where it's sort of in between not digesting the emotions too well or doing too much with the drama. So it could be a mixed bag, but under the circumstances, I wanted to mention that for those that are unsure whether the divorce side is too heavy and the general idea with the comedy, how you're following through. The friends are here and there throughout the film, which I feel is balanced enough. There could be something more out of what we get out of the friends, which in particular, Kate McKinnon has this role where she's made for these comedy laughs, where she's sort of flirting with Benedict Cumberbatch's character, which could be interesting or off-putting for some people depending on how you receive that form of comedy, where it's not overly raunchy but it's suggestive within the means of cheating on a husband, adding in someone else to that particular relationship that could just go one way or another with some people, and how you're particularly digesting this film as a whole. And another thing about the tone is sometimes it could feel a little stagnant, maybe slightly a little long. It's not a withdrawal from what this film has to say, how it expresses all the means to an end. I think for a long spanning timeline that this film expresses, it has the means that it works as a 2-hour film for what it does. But some people, if you aren't particularly connecting with the themes, with the characters, then it will feel like a chore to sit all the way through to the end. Which takes me into the negatives. There's things I want more with the kids of the parents that are going through this argument, through this divorce, and there's a part near the end that I won't spoil, that their expression toward something that's going to involve is something that is off-putting just a little bit. I was a bit surprised. It sort of came out of left field, which can lean into that comedy that I feel they might have been attempting toward, but it's also showing a development that's sort of hidden from what we're going on. Yes, the kids are shown just enough for a film that's focused on the parents and things that are going back and forth between love and hate for one another, but there's also a thing where you might want to express a little bit more, where it's not thrown away as a possible joke that I'm not sure what we're particularly supposed to get out of that in particular. So the way you follow along that could throw some people off depending on what that involves with the comedy, with the drama, whether you're getting enough from the characters. Could be a lackluster part that throws me off in particular to what I had to feel when watching this film. And there's just parts here and there that may slog down the film just a little bit, and you get something more that would have been more expressive, would have been more lively in something. And for me that likes the drama in this type of film, while I feel it had a good mixture between the comedy and drama, I felt the drama could have been a little bit heavier in some parts, because this is dealing with the eventual divorce that could or could not happen by the end of this film that I won't spoil, but that all weighs down on fights that could be stronger, and I felt like some of it was guessing a little bit on their careers, whether it's the lady that was trying to build up her restaurant or the architecture, that some things felt a little vague. And while I don't want it to over explain everything, it felt like it was sort of throwing things out there about how the business of marketing works, that the experience of the writers didn't fully feel knowledgeable about the subject, about how it was going to inform the audience, about everything that's going on, to make it feel more believable, to make it make sense for the long stream of what all was going on. So there's some things where I respect all the ideas to this particular style of film, and I'm not going to degrade it for the particular note that it's going to not be for everyone, because not everyone loves the films that are kind of depressive to some note, but it is something to note along the way, particularly with how the kids don't always get involved. So that's just my personal thoughts on The Roses, which I have to rate as simply 7 out of 10. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of The Roses. Was it good? Was it bad? Or somewhere right in the middle? Or if you're waiting for this review to decide if you're going to see it or not. And make sure to like this video if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't already to join in film culture community, where we talk about the love of cinema as a whole. So that's just all, and make sure to do yourself a favor and go watch a movie.